Kind of a chill day today. Not really, but kind of a chill day today. So last night, or actually yesterday before I left the shop, I reclaimed about 15 manual screens, and before I left, I took just the ink off of 12 manual screens. So I said, tomorrow morning when I come in, all I have to do is just get the emulsion, degrease them, and they're ready to go. So I thought that was kind of cool because if I just get into the habit of doing that every day before I leave, I'll reclaim like 5 screens before I leave, and then I'll come in the morning and reclaim 5 more screens and just keep it going so that I don't have to do a bunch at a time. So that was very good. So this morning we came in, we knocked out 6 for the auto and 8 for the manual. So we got that out of the way, and we still have the 15 in the dark room that need to get coated. So as soon as this dry up, they're gonna get coated and we're ready to get started. Thankfully, we have a reorder for screens that did not get reclaimed. So I'm pretty sure that you guys remember, because we just did it, this 6 color. The 6 color we did for Pete. He had his concert this past weekend, sold out show, and he sold about 70% of his merch. He ordered 120 shirts at the concert. So he came in yesterday to place a reorder, and he wants 92 more shirts. So I ordered them last night. They're gonna come in around 12 o'clock. So meanwhile, we're gonna knock out a couple other jobs that I have in the house. They're, pretty much ready to go. So while we wait for those shirts to get ready, we're gonna knock these out, and then I'm gonna show you guys just the little things that I do to reset up a previous job that has ink on it. A lot of times people like to go a little crazy and they clean out the entire screen for really no reason. So we're gonna get into that in a little bit, and that is what I'm gonna show you guys today. But I was just letting you guys know what's going on and kind of what I've been doing with the reclaiming, because now that my friend Armando is working at this insurance place, he works like in the afternoons, and he has this routine where in the mornings he goes and works out. So he doesn't have time to come to the shop. We're still in contact, we talk like a lot, but because he's not here helping me reclaim, I had to figure something out, and that has been working just great for me. Not worried about it anymore. And for catching my nephew will be in here every once in a while. School's about to start, so that's also gonna end, unfortunately. And because school's gonna start, Cassidy's starting school next week for the first time, so we're gonna have to take her to school, and that's gonna give Cynthia some time to be here and help me for like 4 hours a day or so. So very cool, very excited for that, because I'm gonna have my wife in here just helping me a couple hours a day whenever she can make it in, and I think I'm excited for that. So that's cool. I like that that's gonna happen. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go ahead and get the jobs done that I have right now, and then once I'm ready to set up the 6 color, I'm just gonna turn on the cameras again and show you guys what I do just to set up like a used screen with ink in it. Also, it's been a couple of weeks now that I started doing like the push-ups. I mentioned that I started with doing 4 sets of 10s, and then I moved up to 4 sets of 15s. So what I started doing now, because they're starting to become a little bit easier to do, it's just I kind of like squat down, and then I bring the dumbbells up to my back, and I just do 15 push-ups, and I do 15 whatever these are called, and then I'll do 15 push-ups, and I'll grab the dumbbells and just bring them up and do that. So I'm just kind of incorporating other exercises into my workout routine, and it's been working really well, so I feel great. I think that as you get used to it more and more, obviously it becomes easier, but towards the end you're always getting exhausted. But if you guys are thinking of starting a working out or a workout routine in the morning or in the afternoon, I strongly recommend it, because it just makes you feel better. It makes you feel energized, believe it or not, and it just gives you like this sense of like you did something, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like you accomplished something in the day. So whether you do something after that or not, you already feel accomplished. and I think that just helps you boost up your confidence. So if it helps you guys to do that, go ahead. If not, I understand it's difficult to get started. A lot of people sometimes think that I won't start with 5 because 5 is too easy, but it's so easy that you won't do it. So if you do 4 sets of 5 just to start, you know, that's a good way to get your routine going, and then you add up as you go. So those are my 5 cents on just staying fit, I guess, and having a workout routine and trying to stay healthy at whatever. All right, my friends, I'm ready to get this job set up and to show you guys what's going on, just to reset up use screens. So we have a bunch of ink on the screen, and it's all taped up. So I gathered all the screens that I needed, and the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grab a rag and I'm gonna clean the sides, because sometimes a little bit of ink tends to like get on the sides, and I don't want my palettes to get ink on them. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna wipe the sides of the screens, and then once I'm done with those, I'm gonna show you the next step. Okay, so this is all you're gonna need. You're just gonna need a rag and a can of 480, which is the screen opener. And I know a lot of times people like to clean the entire screen to set it up again because they think it's easier or faster or whatever excuse they want to have, but all it really is they're getting paid by the hour, so therefore they want to stretch it as much as possible. So the only thing that we're going to do is we're going to remove the tape from the registration marks. Just put it to the side here, and you can just damp your rag with the 480, and you make sure you wipe them off so they don't have any ink on them. That way when they print, you get to use your registration marks. And I'm gonna go ahead and set this one up first, just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And once it's set up, I'm gonna go ahead and continue doing the rest of the screen so I can put them where they go, and we'll move forward with lining everything up so that it's set up and ready to go. All right, so I'm gonna bring in the screen, and as you guys can see, it's still dirty, but it does have the registration marks on it. If you feel like you didn't clean enough of the registration marks off with your rag while you have the screen set up, you can always come in and just, you know, rub the rag around so you can see your T-square when you bring up the pallets. I'm gonna bring in the camera so you guys can see a close-up of what's going on here, and you tell me if this makes sense or not. But here we have the bottom of that registration lined up with the T-square, and then over here we have the bottom of that registration lined up with the T-square, and we can see that it's centered. So we have a center design and a straight design. So therefore, we just saved time, and we also saved chemicals by not using the 480 to clean the entire screen. And if this is helpful, then hopefully it'll make your setups go a lot faster whenever you have to reset up used screens, or if you don't have the tri-lock. If we had the tri-lock, all I would have to do is load up the screens, tri-lock them, put the squeegees in, ink them up, and run a sample to see which one's off and just tweak it. But we don't have it, and this is the fastest way that I found by not having that system. Which either way, you know, I think it's pretty fast. There might be like a couple of minutes in difference, but I like this way. It's pretty efficient. So right now, I'm gonna go ahead and print this so you guys can see it printed. I'm gonna tape it up, and then I'm gonna go ahead and clean the rest of these registration marks so I can put the screens where they go, and then I'll bring in the squeegees. I'll put the inks in there, and then we'll register it so you guys can see the final outcome, and so you guys can see that it's not necessary to spend, I don't know, maybe 35 minutes just cleaning the entire screen when really you shouldn't have to. So, I don't know if you guys can notice, but before I used to go like this with my finger to run the tape down and make it as smooth as possible. But right now, the humidity level is like 70%, so I'm pretty sticky. And what I'm doing is I'm running the back of my nails to flatten out the tape. That way my finger doesn't stick to the tape and wrinkle it. Another thing that I should mention is if if you guys did the job previously wet on wet, like you guys can see here on this example, I'm gonna go ahead and recommend just to wipe off the colors that printed wet on wet on the backside, just so you don't get confused when you're setting up, because the rest of the image can throw you off, especially if you're starting from scratch. And I'm not saying clean the inside, it's just the backside so it doesn't throw you off, that's all. Okay. So, as you guys can see, that one's done, and we finished the rest of them as well. Dirty from the inside, registration's cleaned up. I'm gonna go ahead and set up the screens where they need to go, and then put the squeegees in there and start registering the colors to the base. Alright, so we have the white for the base. We're gonna flash, same exact setup as last time. We got a cool down station. We have the cool gray 11. We have that skin color that's still sitting there because we did it like maybe 4 or 5 days ago. Okay, that one. And then we have the gray. And I did mention that it was a random gray, like a really weird one. So this is like super old. It says warm gray 8. I'm not gonna trust it, but that's what it says. And then we have our uh, gold, goldish yellow. I could tell you what number that is as well. This is another kind of like old ink. This is 1375. So that's for like the fire that's coming out of the tires. We got that set up. We're gonna have the flash in this station, and then no cool down after the flash for the black to go next. We were printing black, so we didn't have to clean a squeegee for that one. That one's ready to go. And if this head was working, I would have this as a cool station, and then I would have the black at the end. But when we were working on that press a while back, we had some issues where, honestly, I don't understand what's going on, because I hit print, it'll come up and then just read as an error. So I don't know if the lines are switched back there, the air lines, or it's just kind of a little bit frustrating for me to go back and just redo everything just to fix this one head. So I know that I can figure it out. I'm just not gonna take the time to do it. And that's besides the point anyways, because we're ready to start lining up the job. And I'm just gonna bring the base around to one of the colors, just so you can see that it's not that hard to set it up. And then I'm gonna go ahead and set up the rest of them, print them, and then see what the final outcome is, so that we can just get approval one last time before we start printing. So there you go. The screen has not been cleaned, but you can clearly see the registration marks, and you can still see the design if you move around the screen, where at least, you know, it should be. So we're gonna go ahead and take our time to line this up, and then throw some ink in there to make sure everything is good to go, and move forward from there. I ran the first sample around the machine just to make sure that everything was lined up the way it's supposed to be after you know, we set up with the tape, and I was pretty happy with the result. So right now, because I have the dryer off, I'm just flash curing, and it's just like a sample, so it doesn't really matter if it cures all the way. It's just to show the customer that the design is ready to go. So let me show you guys what the final result looks like, and you guys tell me what you think. That is the setup right there. And we did not clean the screens. We just cleaned the registration mark like I showed you. And right now it's 12:56. So it's been an hour since I started setting up, but it took me a while because I was talking to Jeremiah. He got here and we were just catching up. My dad got here, so I was talking to him for a little bit, and then trying to shoot this kind of took me a while. But all in all, it should have took, if I added up the time just setting up without distractions, this setup should take me at least no more than 20 minutes. So somewhere in between 15 and 20, once I have the screens, and then I start cleaning them and setting it up. So it should be a pretty fast setup. Hope you guys learned something, because this is something definitely a little bit different. Some people do clean them, some people don't, but I don't know if you guys have seen it or not. So there you go. That was that.